The Labor Day long weekend is upon us, so that can only mean one thing. It's time for some Canada West soccer action. That's right, the Saskatchewan Huskies kicking off their 2025 campaign this evening under the lights at Griffiths Stadium against the Mount Royal University Cougars, who have already been in action last weekend and are off to a 2-0 start. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Flaherty, alongside Lee Cormish, back with you for another season here in Saskatoon. Excited to bring you some great Husky soccer action. This is the first of 4 games here this weekend. Both Husky teams will be playing twice, hosting Mount Royal and Calgary. And it is the men in the spotlight tonight as they look to erase the memory of a tough year in 2024 and start off a new chapter of Husky soccer. Lee?
Yeah, it was a tough season last year for the Dogs, but in Canada West, the parity is so even. Went their way, or a few goals, they were just outside of a playoff spot. And now they've got 15 first years in the program, which seems like Canada West has a lot of teams with a lot of first years this year, Ryan.
Yeah, was speaking with Husky head coach a few days ago, and he noted that a lot of the programs across the conference adding double-digit recruits this year, which is actually kind of interesting because this is the year where you have the double graduating class potentially at a lot of programs, of course, after the COVID year. So you would think there might be less room for new recruits, but for a lot of different reasons, depending on the program, depending on the player, a lot of opportunities for some new faces. The Huskies even adding to their team right up into this week, including a member of their starting 11 tonight. So why don't we take you through those players, because we're going to be introducing you to a lot of new players over the course of the year. But for the Huskies, there's 3 brand new faces in the starting 11 this evening, and it starts right up front. The striker is Teo Hein, and he literally just signed with the program earlier this week. We'll talk more about him as the night goes on, but a very exciting recruit coming off a terrific summer in League One. And from right here in Saskatoon, he's going to be the tip of the spear here in his first action with the Huskies less than a week after joining the team. 4 behind him is from left to right, Misgana Kilo, returning player, 4th-year forward. Dante Molina is another new recruit. He's the younger brother of Huskies returning veteran Sergio Molina. Both the Molina brothers in the starting 11 tonight. Dante Molina on that left side along with Kilo. Malcolm Rector and Ilyich Garamadani, 2 returning Huskies on the right side of that forward flank, sort of the attacking midfield, if you will. In the center of the midfield, Alessandro Calado, AJ, 2 his friends. And then the defense, left to right, Ethan Cabral, Luke Mackey, Sergio Molina, and Ryan Coe, all veterans for the Dogs. They'll be a big piece of the puzzle, hoping they can really play some staunch defense this season. And another fresh face in goal, and that is Kieran Behan getting the start in net. Jaron Slopinski, the 4th-year goalkeeper, is dealing with a bit of an injury. He's expected to be ready to go next weekend, but it's Behan's net here against the Cougars. We're just underway. The Huskies in their all-white kits with the green numbers, attacking the goal to our broadcast right. That is the south end zone, or the south end of the pitch here at Griffiths Stadium. And the Mount Royal Cougars in their dark blue kit with the white numbers. They'll take you through their starting 11 here as well. Their starting goalkeeper, Siard Strauss, who is making his 3rd start of the season and has backstopped 2 wins already this year. Has Strauss, the 4th-year keeper. In front of him, the back line, left to right, Joseph Green, Alex Kemsley, Ruben Kudelka, and Hyunsu Ryu. In the midfield, left side, Max Nero, right side, Jonathan Walter, and 4 wide up front in this 4-2-4 formation for the Cougars. Left to right, Finn Marshall, Chanan Chanda, excellent new recruit for the Cougars, who already has a couple of goals this year. So too does Kwesi Opteng Frimpong, and Josh Flaxman on the right side rounds out the Cougars starting 11. We're just underway here at Griffiths, and a good test for the Huskies here to start the season, Lee, coming up against last year's Canada West finalists and the 2023 Canada West champs in Mount Royal.
Yeah, why not start the season at home with this gorgeous weather in Saskatoon tonight against a solid squad, a team that's been there, a team that can go a long ways, and they've got to have their sights set high again this season, Ryan, because, you know, they look good in their first 2 games, and so this is number 3 for them.
Yeah, pair of 3-1 victories for the Cougars on their home turf last weekend. The first one, perhaps the more impressive of the two, that was against the Alberta Golden Bears, and then followed that up with another 3-1 victory over the other Edmonton school here in Canada West, that being the MacEwan Griffins. So Cougars already got off to a great start, but head coach Ryan Jackie says, you know, wins are precious, but we're already on to the next thing here. As the Huskies look to get something going here early on. Down the left side, now cutting it back, looking there for Garamadani. The pass didn't arrive. The Cougars take over.
Dante Molina showing bursts of speed already.
And Bryce Chapman, Huskies head coach, very high on the younger Molina brother, calling him one of the top central midfielders in all of Western Canada at this level. So very excited to have him on board. Of course, Sergio's been here for a few years now, his older brother, and he's on the back end. So if the Huskies are going to have success this year, you got to expect there's going to be plenty of Molina DNA in that formula. Cougars, who play a pretty direct style of soccer. That one's cut off by Ryan Coe, one of several Huskies with a number change this season. Coe switching from 23 to 2, and he's going to be called for the foul after no advantage there. So there was a bit of a delay, I guess, in the call. But
yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
Joseph Green down for Mount Royal, and a little worse for wear. You're right. It looked like a pretty by-the-book kind of challenge and tackle there, but he'll have to go off for a moment before being allowed to return, or will he? Nope, he's back in, and good show of sportsmanship there from Coe.
Yeah, looks like Ryan Coe must have just brushed him on the face there, but, you know, there's no foul there, of course. It's just the run of play.
Luke Mackey, one of the mainstays here. A lot of veterans departing the program after last season, and only one by graduation for the Huskies, but a number of names that people might have gotten used to over the last couple of years no longer with the team. And Luke Mackey, he's a true fifth year here, one of the few, and he will be in the middle of that back line all season long.
Yeah, Luke Mackey, he's a fan favorite. He's a big man in the back. You can expect a lot from him, and being his fifth year, he's going to want to win a few more games this season than the past year behind us.
Great ball there on the switch, and now down for a cross into the box, but no one in white on the receiving end there from Garamadani. It'll be interesting here to see, you know, a team that's already played a couple of conference games has got their feet wet, so to speak, whereas the Huskies, this is their first meaningful action of the year. They did obviously play, just like every team, play some preseason games. So most recently they were in Calgary, played the State Trojans in a couple games and split those two, both 1-0 decisions. And the loss was actually the only goal they conceded in preseason play. They were pretty happy with their defensive game. But it's the other end of the pitch where they're really looking to improve this season, Lee. Just 9 goals last year. That was dead last in the conference.
Yeah, they had a real tough time scoring. Just couldn't connect up front. It looked disjointed at times. So I already see they're pushing forward. They're on the front foot here, Ryan. They're putting numbers heavy up front. So, and here's a chance right away.
Here's a ball down the right flank for Garamadani. Right into the box. Sizzler, but kind of split the Huskies who were in the area.
Yeah, he won't be happy with that.
But you're right, Lee. They're certainly looking to take this game to Mount Royal early, are the Huskies. Maybe catch them with a bit of bus legs. I don't know when the Cougars got into town, but you always, when you're the home team, it's generally a pretty good idea to try to jump on the visitors before they get comfortable. It doesn't even really matter what sport you're talking about. Sometimes players want to get familiar with the unknown pitch, perhaps. They haven't played on it, or not much.
And the other thing is,
Garamadani. Here's a cut back. That's blocked, though. Good defensive recovery there.
Being the start of the season, Ryan, I can tell you these guys are excited. They want to play, so they're coming out firing, and they definitely, having Mount Royal first game, they want to come out. They want to get the first goal tonight.
I asked Bryce Chapman this week. I said, so you're kind of turning the page, trying to start a new chapter, rewrite the book, so to speak, and get a bit of a culture shift going. So do you like playing a top team like this right out of the gate? He said, yeah, you might as well. Says it's pretty much the ideal scenario to start the year. You're at home, you're stepping into the ring, you want to take a swing. That's how you want to start. So see if the Huskies can make Mount Royal uncomfortable. But, of course, Ryan Jackie's squad, which has also got a lot of new faces on it, they're not going to get rattled. You would expect. They'll look like they probably expect that they're going to be maybe defending a little bit more to start this game. So I don't think they're surprised at all. Alex Kemsley, long ball forward, trying to link up with Marshall down there, but there's Mackey. Plenty of time coming back. This will be the first real four-way forward for Mount Royal, as they'll have the throw here in the attacking third.
And it was a real cooker here in Saskatoon today. Right now it's plus 26 degrees and the players are in the shade. They got to be happy with the Friday night schedule this weekend.
Yeah, that's a bit of a reprieve, although it's going to be just as warm all weekend long according to the forecast. And the game on Sunday against Calgary is a high noon start time, so that'll be a sweltering one, no doubt. There is a bit of a breeze blowing from sort of our broadcast right to left, at least according to the flags on the far stands, the far bleachers. Nothing too significant, though, in terms of wind. Shouldn't have much effect on the proceedings, other than to maybe just cool off the pitch by a couple of degrees for the players. You take a look here, see if we can get your wind speed for you. Apparently not. Huskies with the throw. Cougars will take it away, but that was a pretty hopeful ball forward and well off his line. Bayard looks pretty comfortable playing it with his feet there, with a Mount Royal player getting close, but he looked pretty cool and confident there. And we've got an offside flag up here as Huskies tried to push forward. Cougars just being told to bring that ball back a few yards. Kemsley will play it for the keeper, Siard Strauss. Headed away by Coe. Recovered by the Cougars. Here's Green. One of the new faces in the Mount Royal lineup that head coach Ryan Jackie is happy to have on board. First real spell of possession here for Mount Royal. Chipped ahead, looking for Kwesi Otang. Nice move. Gets it into the box. It's in! Oh, my! The first forward thrust for the Cougars. The ball's in the back of the net.
Whole lot of confusion there between the goalkeeper and the defense, and it's going to go down as an own goal. That was sloppy, and that's going to be so tough for the coach and the team to take so early in this game. That is exactly the opposite of what they would have wanted tonight, and it just got a mess, Ryan.
So we'll wait and see, but yeah, it did look a little awkward there. It was a good ball forward, but it seemed like the Huskies were in pretty good position defensively.
Just a miscommunication. I don't know if the keeper didn't call him off or what, but.
And that's perhaps one of those situations. You do have a new goalkeeper in there, although you do have 4 vets along that back line. But just getting used to each other out there. It's not Jaron Slapinski back there, and maybe you're right, Lee. Perhaps there was a breakdown in the communication, but it's a good break for Mount Royal. They'll take it.
So unfortunate for the home team.
It was really the first attack that Mount Royal had 10 minutes into the game. That goal did come in the 10th minute. Make that the 11th minute, I believe. Huskies looking to counter quickly. Dante Molina pushing it ahead from the edge of the box. That took a deflection, so it will be a corner here for Saskatchewan. I like the response there, though, right away. Get the ball and get back on the front foot.
Yeah, you're right. You know, it's so early in this game, and you can't let that set you back. You just got to forget that. You got to move on forward, and yes, the response. Let's see what the Huskies have.
I mentioned the Huskies were the lowest scoring team in Can West last year. Defensively, they were a little bit better, at least in relativity to the rest of the conference, tied for ninth, allowing 28 goals against across 14 matches. So we'll have the corner here. And I, unfortunately, left my binoculars at home this week. So, Lee's going to share. There we go. The numbers on the Huskies kits are not terribly large, so it is Dante Molina who's going to take the corner here.
Yeah, Ryan, I put my binoculars by the door last night, so I wouldn't forget them for today's game.
I usually have them ready to go, but you know what? First game of the season, everyone is always a little bit of getting reaccustomed to things. In swinger here, good looking ball. A lot of bodies in there, but it is cleared away by the Cougars.
Yeah, that ball landed in a nice spot. Dante Molina maybe just a little bit more direct there. It was a little high and made it a little bit easier for Mount Royal to defend. They've got some big guys back there.
Indeed. Will be the Huskies still with the ball as Garamadani tracks it down. The former Mount Royal Cougar, Ilyich Garamadani. Was with the program back in 2022. Going to be a long throw here, looking to get to the edge of the 6-yard box, and that was there, but plenty of blue shirts back. Cleared away, and look at that, Bayhand. Now here's another miscommunication. Cabral, this is looking like a second goal, and there it is. Signals cross between the keeper and Ethan Cabral, and disastrous result for the Huskies, but a great start for the Cougars. They're up 2-0, 15 minutes in.
That is absolutely disastrous. Behan was all the way out of his net, and Cabral didn't know where he was. He headed it back, thought his keeper was going to be back, looked up, and all of a sudden he was past his keeper. And it was an easy goal from Mount Royal. Absolutely disaster. But Ryan, you know, it's the first game some of these guys have never played together.
You know what I liked seeing there too? Ryan Coe went right over to Kieran Bayhan, put his arm around him and just gave him a pat, said, "We got you. Don't hang your head."
Well, that's good from Coe, and he's an experienced veteran, and he's got a cool head. That's great to see from him.
But meanwhile, the Cougars taking advantage of some miscues at the back end by the Huskies, and you give them an opening, and this is a good program, a very solid team. Even with the changes from last year, they're still one of the top teams in the conference, at least if you ask the coaches. The preseason coaches poll has Mount Royal 5th, although they had got the same number of points in the poll as the Calgary Dinos. Dinos just had a little bit of an edge in the first place votes, or just a few higher ranking votes in that poll to get the 4th place ranking. But needless to say, Mount Royal considered to be in that upper third of the conference. And why wouldn't you put them there? They won the title 2 years ago, and they were in the final last year. So it's been a good program, almost right from the jump since joining Canada West. And they're looking for more. There's a foul right on the edge of the box. And the Cougars are going to have a free kick in a great spot here. They're going to take it quickly, but with the player still down, the referee says, not so fast.
Yeah, it was good by the referee. The foul was a few yards back, and he wanted to make sure that kick was taken from the right spot.
Well, the Huskies really need to tighten the clamps now. They can ill afford to concede a third here. Over the ball is Jonathan Walter. 5 Cougars inside the penalty area. Loop towards the far post and headed high and away. Dante Molina back there controls for Coe, and now it'll be a goal kick.
First goal scored by Mount Royal was our own goal by Huskies, and the second goal scored by number 20.
Chanan Chanda with that second Cougars goal, by the way, didn't quite get to that as we were talking about the miscue on the Huskies end, but Chanda did the job to finish it off, very calmly depositing into the net, and he's already got 3 goals this year.
I don't know if they'll come easier than that one. That was a tap in. Just needed to pass that in from about 20 yards out.
Chanda, first year Cougar, but with a great pedigree, playing with Cavalry FC in the CPL. And has 3 of the Cougars' 8 goals already this season to lead the team in that department. And that first goal, as you mentioned, Lee, was confirmed as an own goal on the Huskies. So I'll look to regroup here, but certainly not what Bryce Chapman had in mind coming out of the gates here on home turf.
Yeah, I really think both goals are goalkeeping mistakes on Bayhan. Unfortunate, but he's still way out of his net. He's confident. He's not going to let him down. And like you said, Ryan Coe gave him a little tap and said, "We got you, man." And there's a lot of time left. We're only in the 19th minute.
Coe dispossessed, and there's a tackle that was kind of pulled back on. Gallaudet maybe been worried about fouling, and now the Cougars looking dangerous. But there's a shoulder check after the offside whistle as Mackey came back and just delivered a little message to Chanda. I don't know how intentional that was. I don't want to try to judge that from up here, but it was a fairly good collision between the two bodies there. But Chanda popped right back up. Didn't look like he was too upset about it. Probably thinking about the fact that he's got his team up to a 2-0 lead, and that's more important. So we approach the 20-minute mark. Huskies just trying to settle things down. The first 10 minutes they were looking promising, and then it all kind of fell apart in a span of about 5 minutes there with those 2 goals. It'll be Cougars ball deep in their own end now. Mount Royal 7-2-5 last season. 3rd in that Prairie Division. And then they won a couple of playoff games on the road. No easy task. There's Bayhan way out again, playing with his head. But the Cougars following up. Bayhan will scramble back into position. Well, he's very aggressive out there. Well, that much is clear. Bayhan, who comes to the Huskies from spending some time with Valor FC, speaking of the CPL, in Winnipeg. Jaron Slopinski suffering an elbow injury early in preseason, but not as serious as it could have been, is essentially the way it's been characterized. And the Huskies are optimistic that he will be ready for next weekend. And judging by the way this game has started, that's good news, probably good news for Saskatchewan. Again, that's tough, but you know what? Maybe some first game jitters as well for Bayhan, although his style of play doesn't look like it, but I'm sure he will have plenty of positive moments going forward as well, as he's only just getting started. As we have a foul here against Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Jaron Slopinski's wishing he was between the pipes tonight because, you know, when you see a couple of mistakes like that in the home opener, and, you know, this game should still be 0-0. If you look at the way those 2 goals went, neither one of them should have happened.
Bayhan from Winnipeg. There's a pretty healthy contingent of Manitobans on this Huskies team, although not quite as many in this year's recruiting class as we've seen in the last couple of years, but still some pretty big ones, including Bayhan and Dante Molina. As this free kick is cleared away by the Dogs. Kemsley sends it forward again, and it'll be a throw here for Mount Royal deep in Huskies territory.
You know, and rightly so, to look towards Manitoba. Manitoba's got some good programs over there, and without a men's team in Winnipeg at all, we should be pulling talent from over there. So it doesn't surprise me that there's a lot of Manitoba players on our roster.
No U Sports men's soccer at all in that province. The Manitoba Bisons don't have a men's program either. In fact, University of Winnipeg gassed their women's program as well during this past offseason. So there's only one U Sports soccer program in that whole province, and it's the Manitoba Bisons women's team. And they have a new head coach this year, so it's a lot to be desired, I think, about Manitoba soccer at this level, which is kind of a head scratcher because there's a lot of good players, but each institution obviously makes their own choices about what programs to run. But we made a lot about the Winnipeg Westman women's program being a struggle bus for quite a long time last year. Of course, they had a couple of historic lopsided losses last season. That might have spelled the end for them. As the Cougars looking for a third here, edge of the box, Chanda. That's blocked. Nice play by Mackey to get in front of that shot. Now softly sent through, but easy play for Bayhan. I'm sure he would love to get a chance to make a save or two before the half, just to find some positives here, to feel good about something here going into halftime.
Well, yeah, technically it's one shot on goal and 2 goals for them.
That's like, I think they call that impossible math, Lee. How does that even work?
It's not the first time I've seen it.
Imaginary numbers. I did not. The second I could stop taking math classes in school, I did. I don't know what that says about me. Or so we've got a foul on the Cougars. I think that might be the first one they've been whistled for here this evening. One other game in progress this evening. Calgary Dinos already up 2-0 on the Lethbridge Pronghorns down in Lethbridge. Dinos will be here on Sunday to take on these Huskies. And the Cougars will go to Lethbridge. They'll swap spots.
Yeah, Calgary Dinos will be a good test for the Huskies early on this season on Sunday afternoon.
There's a strong challenge on the back, and there was a delay there as the head referee waited to see if there would be an advantage to play, but there was none. Hey, by the way, resident official, who are our officials here this evening?
Yeah, we've got the veteran who's done a lot of matches. In fact, I've mentioned this last season, but when the MLS referees went on strike, the man in the middle tonight, Vitaly Olenichenko, was called in for a couple matches, and one in Vancouver to referee as an assistant for the Whitecaps, and then he went on and did another game with Toronto FC. So that's our man in the middle. We've got another guy who's done a lot of Husky games, and that's Ian Adams. He's the first assistant. And our second assistant, young guy, Dennis Plitko. Our fourth official is Miguel Cabrera.
Miggy. I didn't know I was after Major League long Hall of Fame Major League Baseball career. Reference soccer. Here's a long ball in the box, but a good, solid defensive play off the head of Alex Kemsley back there. Kemsley, one of a couple of players on this Cougars team coming from the UK. He's now in his 4th year, but Axbridge in the UK. And a reliable, steady defender on the back for Mount Royal. He scored a couple goals last year, too, so a full field type of player. Cougars take it back here right in front of the Huskies bench. Ryu trying to get something going down that right flank. Now Chanda, good footwork, and that pass was intercepted. Huskies had plenty of bodies back that time. And Mackey makes the hand signal to just settle down. got to have a short memory here if you're the Huskies. This is, again, just the first half of the first game. One way you could look at it, just say, hey, like that can't happen again, can it? So maybe the only way to go up from here, right? Have a rough start to your first game. This will go up for a Mount Royal throw. Joseph Green, speaking of Winnipeg, the lone Manitoban on the Cougars roster, wearing number 13 here to take this throw. In his first year. They just go inch by inch here down the touch line.
Yeah, it's still so early in this game. We've still got 17 minutes left in this first half.
Sun setting in behind the stadium, at least from where we're sitting here in our vantage point. We're posted up here on the west side, looking across to the east side. So the lights come on here at Griffiths. Got that beautiful, it's the golden hour, they call it. That's what I think photographers call it. It's the best light for, that's why you always see all those family photos that getting taken over, by the river or whatever, supper hour, because it's the best light.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, as you see, when the sun's too high in the sky, it just gets bright and makes you squint.
Yeah, that's right.
So there you go. Plus, it's a little softer in the evening. Soft glow, Don't need to put any filters on those pictures. As we approach a half hour gone here in the first half, Cougars with the 2-0 lead. Long ball trying to pick out Teo Hine, but he was surrounded by blue shirts. Hine, 14 goals in League One action at just the age of 18 here this summer. Leading the league in scoring, and was recruited and set to go to NCAA Division I at UNLV, but some issues with some visa issues, so ended up as a Husky, and Bryce Chapman certainly pretty excited to have him on board. Here down the right side comes Garmadani trying to cut it back, but right onto a Cougars foot. Taken back. Two defenders on one attacker, and Mount Royal able to snag that ball from Dante Molina, who's slow to get up behind the play. Now back to his feet. Boy, would the Huskies love to get one back before halftime. Although they haven't shown a lot in that final third thus far. Had a corner and a couple of balls into the box, but haven't had anyone really in the right spot to receive those crosses yet.
Yeah, I know they haven't given much work for the Mount Royal keeper here. He's had a pretty easy day so far.
Yeah, Strauss mostly playing as a distributor so far. Starts this one, and a lovely little move there by Green, pushing it down the rail.
Oh boy.
Marshall now into the middle, and we're going to have a penalty here. Chanda taken down in the box.
This should be yellow, and it's just outside the box.
Is it?
Yes.
Good eye. It is, as you called it. There's the yellow shown. So it'll be a free kick, not a penalty. And Chanda looks to be okay, although hobbled a little bit.
One could argue for the red card, but I think he's got it right with the yellow.
Boy, oh boy.
That's a sweet spot for a free kick.
It has been an adventure at the back end here in the opening half for the Huskies. And not the good kind, not like an Indiana Jones kind of adventure.
Finn Marshall is absolutely licking his chops. He wants everything on this one. Let's see what he's got to do with it.
Yeah, a lot of options here for Marshall. Third year forward from Calgary.
Oh, he's got his eyes set on goal. He's going to curl that thing. It's just got to get over that wall.
Right into the wall, but it gets through and then swept out the back. Good defensive effort there. Looked like Sergio Molina saved the day there.
Yeah, great defensive work, Ryan, because that was going to be 3.
Was he the one? I believe he was the one who committed the foul. Was it Molina on the foul? I just missed the number on the initial play there, but we haven't heard it announced here, so it's hard to see from our vantage point. It happened very quickly, but either way, if it was, he certainly helped his own cause, bailed himself out. But here's a cross in, palmed away. Good job by Bayhan. And now the Huskies trying to catch the Cougars up the field, but they give the ball away. It's back into the box. This is dangerous. The shot curls over the bar. Josh Flaxman was looking at the goal there. Just looped it too high.
Yeah, there was a pair of guys on the far side there, and they stayed on side. Probably wishes he would have done a little better than that rather than skying that over the bar like he did.
So the Huskies almost got a little too fast trying to counter there and trying to catch the Cougars, but they didn't really have any shape and gave it away, and that nearly turned into goal number 3. So certainly will be plenty of conversations in the locker room at half about the defensive shape and the way the communication is going back there. Obviously, you'd like to see some production up front too, but I think the things you want to address are all on the defensive side here in this opening half. How wouldn't it be the way those 2 goals went in? We've still got about 11 minutes plus added time in this first half.
Huskies really need to get something before half here, but they just haven't shown a whole lot.
Even a good chance would help, just get them settled in a bit, you'd think.
Just some confidence.
Garamadani trying to generate it here. Sleds it through, looking for Hine, but that's cut off. Marshall pressured by Coe. And the ball staying right on that. Just enough contact with that touch line, and then a foul is given.
Garamadani's asking why the flag didn't go up for that going out of play. Well, it didn't go out of bounds. That ball needs to fully cross the line, and obviously did not do that.
You can imagine Garamadani probably has a little extra motivation playing against his old team. I know it's not his first year since leaving the Cougars, but anytime you're playing your former club, you want to put your best foot forward, so the emotional investment gets just a little bit higher. He's been the guy on the ball here mostly here up front thus far. They've played it down that right side a lot when they've had the chance to for the Huskies, but Garamadani so far hasn't had the quality I'm sure that he would like on those crosses. Marshall gets ahead on that, and Kemsley sends it forward. Mackey, play it back to the keeper, Bayhan. This time they're singing from the same page of the songbook. I mentioned the Cougars last year where how they did. I was about to talk about their playoffs, and then they scored their second goal, but 2 playoff victories on the road. First beating the Victoria Vikes 2-1 in an overtime thriller in the Canada West quarterfinals, and then defeating those Alberta Golden Bears in Edmonton 1-0 to get to that Canada West championship. And obviously that earned them a ticket to the national championship as well. They ultimately lost that Canada West final to UBC 1-0 and went 0-2 at nationals, but a program that feels like it is on the verge of not only winning a second Canada West title, but maybe contending for a national championship as well. The hardest part in a lot of cases is getting there.
Yeah, it's a tough road. That is a tough road out of Canada West to make that far, go into nationals, and yeah, there's nothing easy about that. You need a lot of breaks. You need a good team. You need everything to go right. You need to be healthy. A deep bench. Just it's not easy.
Great defensive work there by Ryu as a pretty solid ball ahead by Hine. He's trying to pick out Kilo on that far side, nearly connected. top seed in the Prairie Division will host Final Four this year. As they switch back, the women's conference will have the Pacific Division number 1 seed that is remaining. When you get to Final Four, will host that Final Four. So on the men's side, it is the Prairie Division top seed that will host Final Four. So there's that dangling on the end of the stick as well for Mount Royal. If they can have a good conference season and earn that number 1 seed, if they can get there, they can host it. Garamadani trying to weave his way through. He's looked like he got stepped on, and he is down on the turf. He's actually holding that right knee, and he's calling for a trainer. So I don't know. Don't want to speculate on this, but not a great sign as they're waving right away. It didn't look like much there as he went down, but maybe just twisted a knee or something as the trainer comes on. So
yeah, there definitely wasn't any foul there that I could see.
He was trying to step around a couple of Cougar defenders and may have just either planted awkwardly or turned and pivoted. And
yeah, the turf can do that. The turf can be tough on the joints. You know, if you just step the wrong way or the wrong placing.
And this is in an opening half that has not gone the Huskies' way. This is an unfortunate thing to see as well, as Garamadani has been on the ball a lot up front for them. Hopefully it felt worse than it is, as that can often be the case. But he looks to be in a fair bit of discomfort down there and not in any hurry to get back up. So we will just have to wait and see how this plays out. But meanwhile, the Huskies might have to get someone ready to come in before the half. And the rest of the team is going to make their way over to the technical area, get some water, get some water. Some more words of advice from the coaching staff, which has a new face on it. A former player in Matthew Hanachu, who graduated from the program and now is one of the assistant coaches under Bryce Chapman. Of course, Matthews also heads up the provincial men's program as a coach, so a natural evolution in his coaching career to come over to the Huskies as well. And he's kind of leading the conversation by the looks of it over there on the bench. Meanwhile, the training staff continues to work on Ilyich Garamadani. Why don't we take a look at some numbers from last season for these teams while we've got a break. Obviously, we talked about the records for both teams, but the Huskies 3-10-1 last year, last in the Prairie Division. As you can see, some of the leaders for last year's squad. In terms of goals, the leading goal scorer for last year for Mount Royal was Miguel DeRoca. He scored 8 times, but he's no longer with the team. Neither is Ethan Keene. Now, those were their 2 All-Stars last year. Ethan Keene out the back end. DeRoca led the team in both goals and assists last year. Yeah. Ethan Cabral, the good news for the Huskies, they didn't score much, but they did return 6 of their 9 goals, and 4 of those, almost half their output last year, was off the boot of Ethan Cabral. So, meanwhile, Garamadani, a good sign as he is able to walk off the pitch out the back and testing out those legs. So we will wait to see if that is the end of his night or if he's able to return. Huskies for the moment playing down a man, but there is a player getting ready to check in, so that may be the end of the night for Garamadani. It's certainly the end of the half for him. As Kieran Baker looks like he's getting ready to enter the game at the next opportunity. There's about 4 minutes plus stoppage time left in the half. And especially this early in the year, Garamadani figures to be a big piece of the puzzle, and if he is hopefully not seriously hurt, you may want to take precautions anyway tonight. Maybe he'll be able to play on Sunday, as he is now laying on the trainer's table over on the Huskies bench for further examination. The Dogs trying to make something happen into the area, chipped through, but there was nobody on this near side. There were only 2 players forward. Again, the Huskies are still a man short out there, and it was Garamadani on that right side who's off. No one really filled the gap. Coe takes a look.
There's a lot of blue shirts back there and not a lot of white at the moment.
Again, Rector asking for it. He'll go to Calado instead, who will back it up. Sergio Molina and Luke Mackey. Mackey forward, plays it ahead, into the box, but Kilo could not control. There's a trip and a foul given there on the tackle from Sergio Molina. And now we'll get the substitution for Garamadani as Kieran Baker checks in. Saw very brief action last year in just one game. Still listed as a first-year player for the Huskies. Oh, pardon me, he is a second-year player, so I had mixed information. And now here is Baker with the ball right into the game and into the attack. Trying to get loose in the box, kind of just tripped himself up there. And it's cleared away by the Cougars. Had a promising start there, but then fizzled out pretty quickly. But Baker, yes, second-year Husky, did just play in the one game last year out of Calgary. But actually, pardon me, out of Prince Al, no, he is from Calgary, excuse me. From the Rangers Premier Club. And first off the bench for Bryce Chapman here tonight. And a substitution out of necessity with the injury to Ilyich Garamadani, who now, as I look down, looks like he's making a slow walk to the locker room. Of course, the rest of the team will be following fairly soon, as we're just over a minute left in the 45. Strauss has not had a lot to do back there so far. Has not had to make any saves. Walter ahead, but Huskies will take it back. Do they have one late push here in them? They certainly had the edge in possession in this half, but the scoreboard reads 2-0 Mount Royal. Baker slashing into the middle for Hine. Makes the turn, turns, fires. That's off a leg, and that'll go for a corner. So a little surprised that the Cougars allowed Hine to turn on the ball there right at the top of the 18, but it allows the Huskies to get a late corner, their second of the game. Excited to see what Hine can do here. When you come in as a player that's recruited by a school the likes of the University of Las Vegas, like that is a very good D1 program. They don't tend to recruit a lot of players from Saskatoon. So you got to be pretty darn good to get that kind of attention up here. Helps when you win a national championship, as several of these Huskies did at U17 last year with the Alliance. Hine, one of them, along with Jackson Kovich, who we may see in the second half. Dante Molina on the corner, just over the head. Falls for Kilo. Can he get a shot away? That will not get through. It's still rattling around. Strauss hustling over. Still alive and now cleared by the Cougars. But there's some stuff here, Lee, that if you go into the second half, I think the Huskies offensively can say there are opportunities for us. Yeah, there is. You know, Dante Molina, he's had a few chances on that left side, come streaking down, but he just doesn't know what to do in that final third there, whether he's going to shoot, whether he's going to make a pass. So he's got to figure that out. Teo Hine has been picking up the game. You just see little things that he does. He's a brilliant player. Little touch, little pass, a little give and go. He's a smart kid, and you see he's starting to build his game already tonight. And really, if not for those two miscues, this would be, we would be sitting here talking about the Huskies having the edge in the first half. If this was a 0-0 game, and it should be, and everything else playing out the way we've seen it, other than those two mistakes leading to goals, Mount Royal has not really had much in the way of an attack in this opening 45. And perhaps those early goals have somewhat affected their approach. That's right. But it allows them to just kind of absorb the game, take things as it comes. They're not forced to
push forward. They're not forced to get that goal. Given 2 goals like that, it's been a pretty easy night for them so far, but the Huskies have been picking things up in the last couple minutes.
That can be a little dangerous, though, too. When you get an early 2-0 lead like that, there's a danger in sitting back and letting the game come to you. That'll be the whistle for offside. I thought it might be the halftime whistle
Mackey
there,
gave a little push in the back to one of the defenders.
Good eye there. As I say, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, always great to have an official up here in the booth with those kind of eyes. I was waiting for that halftime whistle, so I was kind of primed for that as we are into at least to the second minute, if not the third, of added time. Now, we did have, of course, the injury to Garamadani, so don't often see much more than a minute added to the first half, but a little more than usual because of that. Kilo trying to generate a final attack, but he's shouldered off neatly. And Marshall with space in the middle of the field, but his pass is intercepted. The Huskies with maybe a late counter opportunity, but it's going to develop rather slowly, and the Cougars have plenty of bodies back. Baker to Calado, and now Rector. That 8 that almost doesn't look like an 8 from where I'm sitting on the back of his jersey. It almost looks like an 11. I think these are fresh kits for the Huskies this season. Coe, long ball to the far side of the box, headed in the middle by Kilo. Hine with a volley right on, and there's Strauss in perfect position, but we're already seeing what Teo Hine brings to the table here in this first half. He does not need much room at all to make something happen.
Yeah, that's right, and there's no foul. He's such a clever player. He just gives he knows the boundaries of what a ref will call and what they won't call, and if he could have got a little bit more on that shot, but there wasn't much he could have done with that, but he did get it on target.
And we've got a foul here, a yellow card going on the Cougars on that challenge. Kudelka in absolute disbelief at that call. The Huskies, you could hear the crowd, they're fired up. They've seen some reasons for hope here late in this half on the offensive end, and now the Dogs are going to have a free kick from about 26 yards out.
It's a real good chance if they can get something right here. It's within range. Who's taking it? Of course, we've got Ethan Cabral.
Cabral's over there.
And we've got Alessandro Calado.
Calado as well, the central midfielder. That's a decoy. He's a defensive midfielder. He's not. I would put dollars to donuts that Ethan Cabral is taking this kick. What does that expression even mean? Do I get the dollars or the donuts if I'm right? I don't even know. Cabral, right foot, hits the wall. Back to him, another chance. And that'll trickle wide.
It takes a touch.
Oh, you're right. It was off of a Mount Royal, just a graze off of Mount Royal players. So we're going to get one more opportunity before the half. Yeah. Have to think this will be the last gasp in the first half. The Huskies first had the Hine chance, and now the free kick, and now another corner. They're third of the game.
Well, they're starting to pick up some momentum, so this will be a feel-good. Even if they don't capitalize here, they're still going to be feeling better going into the second half.
Yeah, there's
a little more confident.
Definitely some stuff that they can go into the room and say, look, we're generating possession in the offensive end. Now let's get some finish. Cabral, left-footed to the top of the 6.
Ooh, that was a great ball by Cabral.
Mackey down, and we get the ball out to signal the end of the half. I didn't hear the full whistle, but that is the end of the half as the players come off the benches, and looks like Mackey's okay, back to his feet, and that will do it. Mount Royal Cougars pouncing on 2 mistakes on the back end by the Huskies as Mount Royal takes a 2-0 lead into the room after one half of play. We'll step aside for the intermission to be back with second half action here from Griffiths Stadium. As Mount Royal leads at 2-0, you are watching Canada West men's soccer on Canada West TV.
So like when I think of legacy, I also think of the mentors that I had in the past. Kwame, Ike, like they were like my mentors, and like seeing the legacy that they left behind and how they left the program, and also like how they express themselves, and also bringing what they knew, their heritage, to the game and everything like that. Like I strive to do the same thing. So in terms of my background, like the experiences that I had, where I've lived, what I've seen, I try to bring that forth and like leave it for the younger generations. I try to mentor them as best as I can and tell them like, this is what I've seen, how I've handled situations, how when different things arrive, like this is what I would do. But you know, like you can kind of put your own twist in it and maybe do this and that. In the village that I'm from, it's Umwezetu in Nigeria. The roads are like not really established. My dad and his brothers, they've been like kind of reforming the village. So like they've been tarring the roads and like building houses and stuff like that. I'm hoping like with my engineering degree that I can take what I learned, my experiences, back to Nigeria as well, do my youth service. And once I do that, then I can continue building what my dads and uncles have built upon as well. You know, help the community and help the general environment there.
Welcome to Synergy Credit Union, your trusted financial partner right here in Saskatoon. From savings accounts and home loans to supporting local businesses and investing in our youth, we're here for you every step of the way. Plus, with convenient digital banking and a local member contact center, managing your finances is easier than ever. Come visit us. We're here to help.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Does it sound good? Bro, I'm actually freezing though. How you gonna pass me a ball like that? Wow. You're so good, man. You're so good, man. Okay, if I'm leading this, we need to slow down, bro. Like you can't do your fast warm-ups, man.
Check him up and be fast.
No. Chill. Some of us are just regular people, you know? All of us are athletes. I'm telling you, I'm actually tired. These athletes, man.
How's he so serious?
Who? Oh yeah, because he's a military man guy. This guy, G.I. Joe. Yeah. Back up. Lovely. Quality. Lovely.
Then there's 3 flats on the other side of these sticks. Okay? So, this flat always has to play to that wide flat. Okay? Okay.
Always. Let's go. He's getting mad. Oh, he's definitely mad. I didn't mess up though.
You guys, you don't go directly across, all right? Just keep following around, all right? Your 5 places. It's not just play the ball and then I gotta get to the other side. All right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Are you guys paying attention? I'm gonna give him a... Yeah. Oh, stop it, Mace. Yeah, I'm not coming. Well done. We're up. Finish. Well done. Illich. Yeah, Rob, I'm here. Well, Rob.
If you're influencing the moment or influencing the people around you, then you're doing a good job. All right? If you're standing and observing, then we give you the camera. Okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Let's continue on to the final 10. Let's go.
Well done. Go, Ryan, quick. Well done, Luke. Take a dribble. I'll cover. Yes, Luke. That's my guy.
All right? You can build off of it. There's a lot of good pieces. Good?
Yeah. Yo, better behave yourself. Mike up, got the group.
Come on, Mike up.
Oh, I gotta do it?
Yeah.
All right.
Hang on, let's see if you messed it up.
Let's go 3, family on 6. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. Quit playing with me. Quit playing with me.
I think the legacy I want to leave is that of being someone who did the right thing when the right opportunity came up. As an athlete and as a black athlete, I think having people who take school seriously, take their athletics seriously, is something that I feel like I do as well as I can, and I think that that's the legacy I want to leave. I began coaching this year, and there's a lot of young black athletes, young athletes of all cultures, and being able to instill in them what I've learned throughout the years helps them to avoid mistakes that I might have made and put them on a better path. So the legacy I want to leave is one where I can be someone that a young black athlete can look up to as doing the right thing at the right time every single time. Some people get into the mindset that they're an athlete first, but once all the sports ends, your life has to begin. So I think taking this academic side of everything is very important. For me, I want to go to law school, and I'm writing my LSAT this summer. So, you know, school is something I plan on doing for the next couple of years. It's not something that's easy. I think the balance is very difficult, but I think it's very rewarding. And I think for anybody, whether or not school is their focus or not, taking stuff seriously that you do is important. So the academic side has always been something that, even though I might not like it as much as playing soccer, it's part of the job as well. So.
I'm gonna get out of my 18-yard box like 5 times a game. Yeah. 75 to 18. Lightning. You know Lightning McQueen? Gonna look like him.
Running steps, 1 foot in each. You wanna read it? Let's go. Drive. There we go. First up.
I'm bursting! Sport. I feel like I could kick a field goal. Call me Lucas Scott here.
Yes! She could be a kicker.
I could be a kicker. Costa confirmed. Oh, right, Abu? I could be a kicker. Do you think I'd get caught if I go and steal football right now? Hi!
The same thing as last time.
Do you see that movement to the front post though? It's like,
Scoring in leopard.
keeper! See, Julie, it's the superhero pose. I didn't wait the 2 seconds. No, we're still off. That's not right. That's still like a half a yard off though.
Outside lines are with 12 yards like we did last week, okay? 4-minute game. If someone is in the lead after 4 minutes, you get the point and you get this.
Oh, is it wild card?
The longest team is off and the new team comes on. They only, okay, so you can win by 1 or 2. It doesn't
wild
matter.
card?
Whoever's in the lead after 4 minutes, they get the point, okay? This wild card, the team that has after
I need those points.
gets
Away! Good G! Seconds! Can we find it? Can we find it, Amo? Ooh, I'm too close. Oh no! Oh, I love you, Hats. Oh, yeah! I love you, Mo. Well, athlete at Regina, she's gonna be a dual athlete here. Put her on that wrestling team.
Yeah.
Bro, imagine if we had a boxing team though.
Yeah,
Mo would be on the boxing team. High key. Okay.
Yeah, I can
Costa.
box or whatever it's called.
Do you know Sam's middle name?
No. No, we have to figure that out.
Yeah, I need Samuel's middle name.
Amy,
Amy.
we need to figure out Sam's middle name.
Yeah. This is like a new task.
Sam's middle name.
Sam's middle name. Like
Samuelson.
imagine if
Samantha.
Samantha.
Sam Samantha Martin. That's it.
That's it.
Managing the tempo means you get moments to then debrief and reflect as the game is happening. Not at halftime and not after. It's how do we create, how do we fabricate little moments to say, hey, I think this is going to work next time. Let's do it. And then we do it. And if it works, we've already found a solution. If it doesn't work, we move on to the next solution, and next solution, and next solution.
I told you, dual sport. Dual sport. What? I said I'm a dual sport athlete next year, boo. Yeah. Send that to football. Send it to football. I'm coming for you, Lucas Scott.
We do what we do because we love it. There's no way around that. We get up every morning, going out to the barn, knowing that we do this because it's a passion. I can't really describe it any other way.
Money. It's easy come, easy go. That's why we created the Innovation No-Fee Bank Account. That's right, no fees. Zilch, zero, nothing, nada. We've also thrown in free and unlimited Interact transfers. Visit our website to sign up today and use the promo code HUSKY50 to earn a $50 incentive. You'll also be entered to win one of two $500 prizes. Now that's what I'm talking about. The Innovation Federal Credit Union No-Fee Bank Account. How much could you be saving?
For 65 years, we've sown the seeds of Saskatchewan's innovative nature. We have supported farmers here at home and around the world and helped feed the future together. Today, Nutrien is the province's largest private sector employer and the largest producer of potash in the world. Join us as we celebrate 65 years of potash production, as well as the hard work and dedication of the people of Saskatchewan. From Saskatchewan to the world for 65 years.
I grew up here on this farm. I'm a fourth-generation farmer. I love taking care of the cows. I know quality of milk that's leaving my farm. Sask Milk is checking to make sure that the product that farmers are sending is of the highest quality.
Wealth Energy Credit Union, your trusted financial partner right here in Saskatoon. From savings accounts and home loans to supporting local businesses and investing in our youth, we're here for you every step of the way. Plus, with convenient digital banking and a local member contact center, managing your finances is easier than ever. Come visit us. We're here to help.
For 65 years, we've sown the seeds of Saskatchewan's innovative nature. We have supported farmers here at home and around the world and helped feed the future together. Today, Nutrien is the province's largest private sector employer and the largest producer of potash in the world. Join us as we celebrate 65 years of potash production, as well as the hard work and dedication of the people of Saskatchewan. From Saskatchewan to the world for 65 years.
HSAS is a union.
Darnell, can I hand you these?
Was I on? Sorry.
Players returning to the pitch. As you can hear, we're getting set for second half action here in Saskatoon. And a very kind of a strange first half to the Saskatchewan Huskies men's soccer team. As they carried the possession for the majority of the half. They had the ball in the attacking end for a good chunk of it. But they're down 2-0 because of two major blunders on the back end. We won't belabor the point, but we will, in case you're joining us late, just revisit very quickly. Ryan Flaherty, Lee Cormish with you. Lee, maybe you can just recap what happened on those two Mount Royal goals, because really, aside from maybe one other opportunity, they really didn't have the ball on the Huskies' end very much at all.
Yeah, it was 2-0 before we hit 15 minutes on the clock, and it was two blunders. And the first one, it was actually both of them were miscommunication errors, and Kieran Bahan playing his first game with the Huskies. The first one crossed into the box, bounced off a few Huskies and back into the back of the net. Unluckily, that's where it bounced, and it was an own goal. Second one, oh my goodness. Ethan Cabral was looking for his keeper. He didn't hear Kieran Bayhan. I don't know what Bayhan, if he yelled or loud enough, but Cabral did not hear him. He headed it past his own keeper, and it was an easy tap in for Chanda. So if you're looking at the scoreboard and you see 2-0 Mount Royal, oh, yeah, that's about right. But you know what? The way the goals came, this game really could still be 0-0, but that was within 15 minutes, which completely changed the game. So will we see the real Mount Royal Cougars tonight? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, we were talking about it briefly in that first half, but when you get a couple early ones like that, naturally you're going to sit back and play a little bit more of a defensive game, and that may not have been the game plan coming in, but when you're kind of gifted a couple goals like that early on, that in a part may have played a role in the Huskies carrying a lot of the play, but as early on here, we're seeing Mount Royal going to the attack as they are attacking the goal to our broadcast right. That is the south end of the pitch here at Griffiths Stadium, and the Huskies attacking the goal to our broadcast left at the north end. So it was an own goal in the 12th minute to open the scoring, as Lee mentioned, credited to Hyunsu Ryu of the Cougars. And then that second goal after the pass back that wasn't was capitalized upon by Chanan Chanda for his third goal of the season, leading the Cougars in that department, are now having to defend. Just one man ahead here now, getting some help. Huskies would love to get one early. Here's the strike, but it's wide of the near post.
Wow, nifty little move by Kieran Baker. He's still in the match. Came on as a late substitution, and it was Garamadani that went down to an injury. And he's on the trainer's bench right now. He's still feeling things out. I don't think we'll see him again tonight.
No, I would imagine, even just to play it safe, first game of the season. And you do have a day off, a rare day between your weekend games, which isn't often the case. Both these teams, in fact, will have Saturday off before playing again on Sunday. But, maybe he dodged a bullet and perhaps might be available to play again on Sunday. But I would guess we've seen the last of him here tonight. Yes, Baker, the only substitute so far in this game. Here's some other stats. The Huskies already get a shot here in this second half, but the shots were 4-4 in the opening half, 2-1 on target in favor of Mount Royal, 3-1 the corner kicks in favor of Saskatchewan. Offsides were 2-1 Mount Royal, fouls 5 for Huskies, and each team picking up a yellow card. And crowd applauding something here in the they made some announcement. I didn't catch that announcement though, but to the delight of the Husky faithful. Good turnout here for this season opener for the Huskies. I imagine the women's team will likely be around somewhere too. I think I see them clustered on the far bleachers. They'll play their season opener tomorrow afternoon against Mount Royal at 2 o'clock here at Griffiths Stadium. We'll have that one for you. And then it's a doubleheader on Sunday with the Huskies taking on the Calgary Dinos. Men kick off at noon and the women at 2:30. Long throw here into the box and easily grabbed by Strauss. Siard Strauss had a pretty easy time of it in that first half, despite the Huskies having the ball in that end. There's a solid defensive play by Ryan Coe. He's looked pretty good here in the first game of the season for Saskatchewan. Former Guelph Griffin back home with the Huskies. Now in his second season with the Dogs. Ball just a little too far. Looking for Baker over on that far side. Coe trying to keep it in over there. And it will eventually be taken by Mount Royal. Oh, pardon me, it's back to the Huskies. It's Twilight here playing tricks on my eyes. Miss Ganakilo. Back to the keeper, Behan, who's still playing well outside of his area here in the second half.
Yeah, he has not shied away from coming out of that goal.
Marshall with the header. Dogs right back on it. They look determined to cut this deficit in half to start half number 2.
Yeah, they look speedy and they are playing on the front foot most definitely. Well, they have to.
Yeah, you're already down 2, so You're not going to, a loss is a loss, so you might as well take a few chances here in this second half. Try to generate some offense. This will go for a Mount Royal throw. Sundown now, so that should hopefully cool things off a bit for those players as well. I've still got 22 degrees, though, according to my weather, my official weather app. And now a foul given. And both players down on the turf. And Mackey back to his feet. I can't see who that is around Royal down there, but still on his back. Mackey going over to help up Chanan Chanda. They came together a couple times in that first half. A couple of big bodies. Well, mostly Mackey with a big body, I guess. Chanda's kind of thick, though. He's only 5'9", but 5'9", 190. So he's a sturdy fella. Ball by Cabral, stopped by Strauss. There's a rebound, chipped on, they score! Saskatchewan is right back in this game. Ethan Cabral creating that one.
And it's Kieran Baker.
Kieran Baker, the substitute, with his first U Sports goal. And the Huskies are right back in this contest, 2-1.
Yeah, Kieran Baker did everything right, and the ball bounced right in the right place for him. He just hammered it home.
The first real test for Strauss, and he made a strong save diving out to stop that wicked shot from Cabral, but with that kind of pace on the shot, pretty tough to control the rebound. And the Huskies, to their credit, sticking with the play. And that's got to give them a huge lift here to start the second half.
Yeah, game on.
So Mount Royal now back to the attack, trying to get right back to a 2-goal lead. And this looks dangerous, but the Huskies, great job as Kilo and Cabral converge. Yeah, 50-50 ball. Crowd starting to get into it too, as they were kind of quiet in that first half, and understandably so after those two early Cougar goals. But they are fired up here now on a Friday night under the lights at Griffiths Stadium. And the Huskies, regardless of how the rest of this game goes, to get a goal like that in this opener, that's a big positive sign for them. Again, they scored just 9 times all of last year, and just because they got one doesn't mean they're going to get. That's not going to necessarily open the floodgates, but you have to love that one. Maybe a less than expected source provides your first of the year in Kieran Baker.
Yeah, it would have been long odds on Baker sniping the first of the goal. If you had money on that, you would have taken home a nice little purse.
And the Cougars are not going to feel any sort of pressure because of that. They still got the 1-goal lead, and this may change up their approach too. It did seem like they came out of the half looking to maybe get a little more aggressive and try to get that 3rd goal and sort of put this game to bed, but instead it's the Huskies who cut the gap in half. As they announce the goal here at Griffiths, Kieran Baker's first in U Sports play, and it's a big one. A good early sign for this Huskies team of their mental toughness as well, Lee. Something I think you and I agree on watching last year's team that may have lacked at times, as last year the team, when things didn't go their way, they kind of folded the tents on certain occasions. But to have the way this game start the way it did, to keep coming out, playing on the front foot, and now get rewarded here early in the second half, is a promising sign for a team that really has nowhere to go but up after last year.
Yeah, I agree with you. You just, like you said, folding the tent. after going down, or just not having that spirit. Just there's something not connecting there, and you can see that the coach has made some decisions. There's some players left off this season.
Whoa, that was
the lineup.
Right on the line as Strauss retreated right to his line to catch that ball. He's almost in the net when he caught it. And now some pushing and shoving as the Huskies came right into the kitchen there on Strauss, and there was a bump after he'd secured the ball, and the Cougars understandably didn't take too kindly to that. So we're getting some emotions here going now as this game tightens up. We saw some pretty good displays of sportsmanship in the first half, but we're getting a little tense now. It's conference play now, it feels like we're going.
Yeah, here we go. Strauss did well to keep. Oh, he's a smart player, so he's going to catch that ball. He's going to make sure it stays above the line. But Huskies pounce on that and get in his grill.
Strauss, one of 7 German internationals on this Cougars team from Stockelsdorf, Germany.
Referee had a word with his assistant, wondering if there should have been any cards issued there. But I agree with that. There shouldn't have been nothing. It was fine. It was a little bit of gamesmanship, a little bit of bumping. No cards warranted. Let's play on.
But as we were just saying, as that chance developed, Lee, we were talking about, the Huskies coaches have talked about it coming into this season. They said, Bryce Chapman said, we're looking at a culture change. There are some players who aren't here anymore that, might have, for various reasons been, some of them departed for opportunities. Some just departed because the fit wasn't there anymore with the program. But he says, number one, they're very excited about the new recruiting class, but also the way that the culture has been built throughout this preseason. I mean, they've been in camp since August 1st, so it's been a month for them to really establish a new culture with this new recruiting class, and then led by these returning veterans, guys like Luke Mackey, Ethan Cabral. They have a 5-man leadership group that includes those two, as well as Sergio Molina, Mizgana Kilo, and Aiden Weeb. And they along with a group of recruits who Bryce Chapman believes is maybe the recruiting class in his time at the Huskies that wants to win and is more invested than any young group he has seen in his 20-plus years with this program. So you're seeing little signs of it here tonight.
Yeah, it was needed. It really was. Watching the Huskies these past few years, you just kind of felt that a little bit of a downward spiral, just not the spirit there when you needed it. Like, just even the way they challenged Strauss on that play after he caught the ball, you wouldn't have seen that last year.
Yeah. I mean, it's only been 2 years of missing the playoffs, but I don't know about you, Lee, but last year felt a lot tougher than the year before. And now the Huskies obviously last year dealt with some pretty significant injuries and some season enders to some pretty significant players. They felt that they were basically a game and a half out of making the playoffs, and they feel that despite the 3-10-1 record, that the gap is a lot slimmer between the top team and the bottom teams, especially in the Prairie Division. And so we'll see. The Huskies still down a goal, though, looking for an equalizer. And there's about just over 30 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. And Mount Royal will look to try to generate something here, as they really haven't spent a lot of time in the attacking third in this game. But can't feel terribly comfortable in this 2-1 lead right now after the way the Huskies have come out to start the half.
Yeah, there's everything to play for, and the energy is on the field right now. It feels real good. You got a good atmosphere, a good crowd. It's a beautiful night in Saskatoon. Friday night, 7 o'clock p.m. start. Sun's down now. It's a fun night.
And, if you're Ryan Jackie and the Mount Royal Cougars, you don't want to just sort of coast through a game. You get 2 gifts kind of early and you just kind of meander your way through the game. I think you'll be happy with getting pushed harder here as this game goes on. Obviously, they're going to want the 3 points, but not every win is worth the same. And I think when you're going into another game on Sunday against Lethbridge, you want to have been in a contest, in that
Well
first
said.
game of the weekend.
Well said.
They obviously have very lofty aspirations this year, and why not, given the recent success for this Cougars program. And the Huskies, they want to send a statement, regardless of the result here tonight. They want to show the rest of the Canada West that they are not going to be a 3-win team this year that's going to be last in their division, and a team that opponents can kind of come in here and feel like they've got, half the points in their pocket already when they show up to the game.
Yep.
And Mount Royal, for all their success, and they haven't necessarily been the stingiest on the back end. They did concede 14 goals last year, which isn't a huge amount, but certainly there were 4 teams that were tighter than that in terms of goals allowed. They scored 24, so they were kind of middle of the pack there too. They won a lot of close games, low-scoring games last season. They have showed real nice structure, though, on the back end when the Huskies have pushed them. They've been well positioned for the most part here tonight. And now we've got a Husky on the far touchline, just got maybe a cramp situation there, I think.
Ryan Coe on
the
ground.
It is Ryan Coe, and now it's maybe more than a cramp.
Yeah, it was a little bit awkward there, the way the ball bounced. He might have got.
Well, maybe got stepped on, perhaps. Yeah.
Okay. He's walking with a bit of a limp. Hopefully, he just needs to walk that off.
Ryan Coe made 8 starts out of his 12 appearances last year. And I think he's going to have to be allowed back on here. So he's ushered to the sideline. So Huskies temporarily down a man at the ball.
He might
their defensive end. He may need a substitution.
Yeah, you're right.
As there is a player getting ready to check in over at that center flag. So Huskies have already lost Garmadani here tonight. And it looks like Makari Priatko is getting ready to replace Ryan Coe, who's now laying on the trainer's table. So you hope in the case of both players that they're not serious injuries, but those are important players for the Huskies. As the corner now for Mount Royal. In swinger to the top of the 6. Headed out actually by a Cougar. I think that went off a Cougar head. It came out higher, but Huskies are able to clear to half. Pounded back forward by Ryu. Just past the hour mark in this contest, and a foul here against Saskatchewan, much to the chagrin of the Husky faithful. I think we're feeling that was a little simulated.
Yeah, and I don't even think the referee gave a foul. I think we're looking at a Husky throw here.
You're correct. You are correct. So sometimes hard to see on that far sideline, especially when you get into twilight.
Yeah, a little bit of acting there. Maybe got brushed, but not enough for anything. And the Huskies bench made sure the referee knew that.
Yeah, they had the best view out of all. Definitely a lot closer than we are. Cougars, though, undaunted. Here's a ball into the box. Outnumbered defensively, though, was Flaxman. He's not had much of the ball here tonight. Long ball from Cabral splits a couple of Huskies and harmlessly winds up on the foot of Siard Strauss.
Looking for Teo Hein there. And you can see the two guys communicating to each other after. I think they'll get things together here. Cabral and Hein, 2 smart players. Just missed on that one, though.
So one thing I think, if you're a first-year player coming in, obviously depends on what position you play, but I think perhaps the easiest, if you will, the shallowest learning curve or adjustment is for those strikers. You just go up front and you find your space and wait for that ball to get to you in a lot of ways. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than that, but it's less intricate in terms of the shape and the spacing and all that sort of thing. Just get up front and get on the attack. So when you got 2 rookies in Molina and Hein up front, they can just kind of play on instinct a little bit. And yeah, once they get more reps with these vets, they'll be able to link up a little more directly on some of those as we're going to have a free kick, or is it a corner, pardon me, for Mount Royal. In that far corner again. Got the crowd up and doing the YMCA. Finn Marshall over the ball here. Third-year Cougar from Calgary, out of the Calgary Blizzard FC. In swinger, but a little too tight as that was right at the bar. It was palmed away, though.
Bayhan needed to be
yeah,
sharp.
that was good play by Bayhan. It's hard to see where that ball was going to drop, but too close for comfort. Now Bayhan may be cramping a little bit.
Yeah, that could have been in the back of the net. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's hard to see because that was bound. It was very close to the woodwork. You cannot take any chances when you're the keeper. Nice play there by Bayhan. It will be another corner, however. This time, likely an outswinger from Marshall. So he's clearly the set piece man for Mount Royal, at least on the corners. To the far corner, there's some heavy contact in the box. Falling to the edge of the area, but cleared away.
Bayhan did well to get a fist on that.
Came out again, that aggressive style. It benefited him that time. Ryu playing it back, and now the Cougars will settle it down along the back end. Kudelka. Marshall. Back for Kemsley. Now Kudelka will try the right side again. It's Flaxman, excuse me. That's taken away. Huskies on the counter. Chipped forward. Looking for Cabral, but just a little too far. He's going to let that go for a throw. And the Huskies, almost every single one pressing forward here, with the exception of the substitute Makari Priadko, who just entered the game about 5 minutes ago in place of Ryan Coe, the right back. Cabral looking long with this throw. Flicked on and hammered, but high. And from 3, 4-2 Huskies. Right through the uprights. No? Does that not count?
Unfortunately not, Ryan.
It's okay. The football team, Husky football team's in a barn burner as well. Last check, they were down 17-14 to the Alberta Golden Bears just before halftime in Edmonton. Season opener for both Huskies football and men's soccer tonight. It's a fun time of year. It's all getting going again. And we'll have hockey and basketball and volleyball in about a month as well. So it's all happening. (22-17) Huskies in that football game now, by the way. 6 minutes into the third quarter. Here's a weird fact about the football game. Just one fun fact about the football game. It's the first time the Huskies have opened the season with a Week 1 game in Edmonton since the year 2000, which is pretty crazy in a 6-team conference. Cougars, meanwhile, looking to extend an unbeaten run against the Huskies here to 10 games tonight. 8-0-1 in the last 9 head-to-head matchups. Huskies' last win over the Cougars was prior to COVID, back in 2019. A 1-0 victory here at home. It's just the 4th meeting here in Saskatoon since then. Cougars 2-0-1 in the last 3. Just over 20 minutes plus stoppage time left here. The Huskies trying to tie this up, and here's a turnover. Baker speeding down the wing, trying to cut it back. Finds a foot, but good defense there. Huskies calling for a foul, but I think that play was above board, but perhaps an injury here.
It's a foul going the other way.
Yeah, okay. So the running through the leg there.
Yep.
Is what gets the whistle. Guys in a vulnerable position like that, and that's why you call that, right, Lee?
Oh, yeah, like he was reaching back and he clipped the defender on his way by.
So, Husky faithful not too happy about that. They wanted that whistle to go the other way, but meanwhile, the Cougars are getting set to make their first substitution of the match. And looks like it'll be Saskatoon's own Buiji Mutongolo entering the game. Mutongolo, excuse me. Let me pronounce that correctly. And he replaces Josh Flaxman up front. So the second-year Cougar from Saskatoon, Buiji Mutongolo from the Astra Academy right here in Saskatoon. The lone Sasky. Here's a shot from outside, but that took a deflection. Yeah, absolutely, and it took a piece out of the defender. We got two Huskies on the carpet here. It's been a rough night for the Dogs. Lost Garamadani and Co. after they each took knocks, and now Kilo is down. He'll stretch it out. That might be more of a cramp, and then a couple Huskies working it out on the far side, but one looks perhaps a little more serious than the other. But Diego Molina now back to his feet, or Dante, excuse me, Molina back to his feet. I think I want to call him Diego because it's Sergio and Diego. Then they would both end in O. But it is Dante Molina, the younger of the two. Molina's corner kick here for Mount Royal. Headed to the far side of the box, but Mount Royal still with it. Here is Mutongolo. Oh, that's Green, excuse me, over there. Oh, there's Mutongolo who had the chance. Earns another corner kick. That is Green. I had it right. Mutongolo is playing up back, so they've kind of moved some players around. Although Mutongolo looks like he was just filling for Green, who now retreats. Short. They take it short this time and now swung in, but headed clear. Not all the way yet, though. Huskies still have some work to do, but the offside flag is up.
Yeah, Mount Royal tried to catch him off guard there with taking that quick corner. They almost did, but Luke Mackey got the header out.
Caught me off guard. Strauss with the clear. Ever since that Huskies goal, it's been a pretty evenly played match. Mount Royal's done well to kind of solidify at the back, and there haven't been as many forays into that attacking third from Saskatchewan as we saw in the first half. The play in the midfield has been stronger from Mount Royal. They would love some insurance here, though, with the Cougars. Wouldn't that be something? 3 straight 3-1 victories to open the season.
Yeah, well, they know this. They know job is not done yet. Huskies have given it all, and the intensity level has not let up.
This is a good road team, though. They lost just one game away from Calgary, or away from their home field last year. 3-1-3 in the regular season were the Cougars. I mentioned they also won those 2 playoff games on the road. The overall road record, they did end up dropping the Can West final on the road and on the 2 at Nationals, but that's when the caliber goes up pretty high. But within conference, Mount Royal getting some pretty good results away from home last season, trying to continue that trend, as this is the first of 5 straight road games for the Cougars. So after opening with 2 home dates, this stretch could really either really solidify them in a good standing, or they could find themselves sort of in the murky middle, depending on how things go on this 5-game road swing. By then, it'll be halfway through the season. That free kick punched away by Behan. And we'll give Kieran Behan credit, because despite those 2 miscues in the first half, he has shown no signs of his confidence waning or kind of hanging his head at all. He's stuck to his guns and his style, and he's come up with a couple of stops here, and feels like he's settled into the game a lot better here as it's gone on.
Yeah, confidence level hasn't swayed at all.
You got to have that if you're a keeper. You got to have a short memory and a lot of confidence. Self-assuredness. Ethan Cabral. Backs it up. Dante Molina. Now a switch. Good ball across, but well read there. Green gauged it perfectly. Looked like that was going to drop over top of the defender, but closed the gap. Now a nice little flick on the turn. Slashed into the box, but too hot to handle. It was in behind the player in the middle there.
Good idea, though. Just whip that in.
And we're going to have substitutions on both sides here, one apiece. In for Saskatchewan, as looks like Kilo is going off, and he'll be replaced by Kobe Chilligan. So he makes his U Sports debut, first-year player, another member of that Alliance U17 National Championship team. And for Mount Royal, headed off Chenan Chanda, their second goal scorer of the night, and he's replaced by Felix Liebig. Or Liebig. If I get my German pronunciation a little more on point there. Liebig. And for Liebig, a second-year Cougar, he's been a substitute in the first two Cougar games, so staying on trend there as Mount Royal now to the attack. Mutongolo cannot get around Priadko. Nice work by Makari Priadko, the Moose Jaw product, who also played for the Astra Academy here in Saskatoon. And a player who I think as a second year we're going to see a lot more of this year. He got into 3 games as a substitute last season. But he was the first defender off the bench here tonight. And he comes through with a solid play right there on his former teammate, I would imagine, Luigi Mutongolo. Both Astra grads, both second-year players. I think the math checks out there, Lee.
Yeah.
Unless one of them was, I don't know, doing something for working on an offshore oil rig for 5 years and is actually like 27 years old. So I imagine they had a few skirmishes in training over the years, one-on-one battles. 2-1 Mount Royal still leading it as we are just over 10 minutes to play here in the 90. Huskies have clawed one back, but still need a second to get a share of the points here tonight. And you have to think, even without the way this game started, if they could get a draw against Mount Royal, regardless of circumstance, that'd be a real positive result for them to start the season. You always want to win, but if you can get a point against last year's Canada West finalists and a team that was at the national championship, that would set the tone for a promising season. And I don't want to belabor the point, but it just everything, the body language, everything just is a lot more positive here to start the campaign. Mishandled there by Baker, though, and that'll be an unforced error to give the Cougars possession back. I'm in tennis mode. U.S. Open's on, Lee. I'm watching a lot of tennis.
Unforced errors, could use that.
It still applies. It still
right.
applies. I think we should use it in more sports.
But yeah, you're right. The coach, Yeah, Coach Chapman must have had a good little halftime speech, because that 2-0 down just it didn't phase them at all, and they've come out playing really well in this second half, and they really want it. And if they can get a tie here, like you said, that's a huge result.
Cabral with a promising ball into the box, but well defended again by Mount Royal. And again, got to give them a lot of credit. They've been very well positioned on the back throughout this game. The Huskies have tested them plenty of times. We've got another Mount Royal sub. Maybe two here. Nope, just the one. Luca Patik, pardon me, coming in. Checking in, Luca Patik replacing Max Nero in the midfield. One first-year player replacing another. Patik coming off of some U19 first division in Czechia. Hails from Calgary, but obviously with a Czech, with a name like that, he must have some Czech DNA. Get a chance to play over there. And he's into the game. We've got a Huskies corner.
Cabral will take this.
Of course. Cabral slashes it to the near side, but a little prematurely. Looks like they weren't ready, as there's some jostling going on in the box, and the head referee wants to sort that out before we have this corner. So Cabral gets a do-over. I don't think he liked that one anyway, so he'll take a second go.
Absolutely. Yeah, referee was not happy with something he saw in there. Wanted to blow it dead right away.
Mackey always likes to mix it up in these corners as he gets his big body down there from the central defender position. Jockeying for a spot there. Cabral much higher this time to the back post, headed to the middle. Still alive, but cleared away by Mount Royal. Was there for a second, but no longer. Now Cabral with it again, though. Wasting no time, right back into the area. Hammered high over the bar. Maybe rushed just a bit there on the take from Molina. Sergio Molina.
Yeah, that's a tough volley to deflect over, and he wishes he had that back, though.
It is going to take some time with these new players to get everything all in sync on those set pieces. But that one that's a tough one. You're trying to turn and take the first touch at the same time. Now the other way on the counter towards the Husky net, but just off the side netting is once again Bayhan not shy about coming well off his line, but that time put himself into a bit of a tough spot, and at least did force the Cougars wide enough to send that shot harmlessly off the side netting, but got a little dicey there once again.
Yeah, just a matter of a foot or two, and Finn Marshall would have made it 3.
Now Cabral ahead, and Cougars take it back. Into the center of the pitch. Cleared away there by Sergio Molina, but that'll go for a Cougar throw. 6 minutes and change left in the 90. (2-1) Mount Royal leads. A couple of first half goals, one an own goal, and one by Shannon Chanda. Huskies replying here in the second half. First career goal for Kieran Baker, and now we've got a Mount Royal sub, but not yet. What's going on?
Time wasting.
A yellow card for time wasting, much to the delight of the Husky fans below our booth here. And so is that going to go on? I guess that will go on the man throwing the ball there. Now we are back underway, and I'm also a little surprised at that because it wasn't like the longest bit of time wasting we see sometimes. But I guess the situation of the game and time of the half.
Yeah, and I haven't seen a strong warning from the official for time wasting.
Too.
So a little surprised to see that come out so quickly.
Maybe not as controversial as Aaron McLeod's in the 2012 Olympics, but we'll less said about that.
Oh my goodness, we could talk about that one for a long time.
Dredge up some bitter memories as the Cougars shot well wide of the Husky net. Oh,
that was a referee out of her depth.
Way out. Way out. Well, we got the ladies got their goal. They just had to wait another 9 years to get it. But
yeah, that's right.
They did get it. So we're into the final 5 minutes plus added time. Cougars have made another switch. Joe Green heading to the bench, replaced by Thomas Lowndes out of Perth, Scotland. Meanwhile, we've got a foul on the edge of the Huskies box. And a free kick upcoming here for Mount Royal in a great spot. Chance to put this game away if they can make something of this.
Yeah, they're going to argue that, but the referee had a great look on it, and he deemed the body got first before that ball. I think he got it right.
So Marshall, who's taken the majority, if not all, of the set pieces here. He's there, but he's not going to be taking this one. It will be Mutongolo right on the edge of the 18-yard box. With the left foot, just chipping it right at goal. Not a bad idea there. Trying to catch Behan by surprise, but the keeper was ready. And he put it right at him, too. Didn't have to move much.
Yeah, didn't get a lot of heat on that. Right at the keeper. Easy for Behan.
Do the Huskies have a late equalizer in them, or can the Cougars hang on by their tip of their claws here for the full 3 points? 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining.
This one ain't over yet.
Well, the Huskies were on the wrong end of a lot of late goals last year. Maybe they can flip the script here to start off this season. We got a Husky substitution as
Kieran Baker looks
Kieran
like he's
Baker
coming off.
is coming off, and replacing him, Ty Lee, Husky veteran with a new number. Another one of those players changing numbers this year, going from 15 to 5 is Ty Lee.
Yeah, a lot of number changes this year. I've noticed that.
Yeah, Ryan Coe, Ty Lee, Malcolm Rector, Misgana Kilo all sporting new digits this year for Saskatchewan. Cougars trying to find a third here. That will not do it. Dante Molina defers, and that is going to be a foul, maybe a card here as well. Look a little cynical, and indeed the yellow is shown.
Well, I think the referee's been bang on tonight. The time-wasting one I'm still not sure about, but other than that, he's controlled the game really well. He's brought out the cards when they needed to, and fair enough right there, deservedly so, another yellow.
Behan will start it out the back end here for Sergio Molina. Headed by Kudelka. Marshall took a bit of a knock there up in the facial area by the looks of it, as he came together with Ty Lee, who's just into the game.
Yeah, Lee and Marshall, a little bit dangerous there. They just kind of collided faces a little bit, and Marshall got the rough end of that one.
Yeah, I think Marshall was just turning one way, and Lee was running towards the play, and that looked inadvertent. As we're approaching the 90, just 20 seconds left on the clock until we get there. Won't take a guess at how many minutes will be added, but there'll be a few. Been a couple of injuries and a Number of substitutions here. But time starting to run thin here for the Huskies. They have some late drama in them here tonight.
They might.
Dante Molina getting some coaching from the stands. You can hear it right below us. Instructions being shouted out. Wonder if that's a Molina down there. Could be. That ball deflected and out of play. Will stay with Saskatchewan. We're into added time now.
The Cougars have been holding firm the last 20 minutes. They really haven't allowed the Huskies to do much, so it's going to take a little bit of magic here.
Well,
Cougars have been through these tight games before, though.
Yeah, this is certainly not unfamiliar territory for them. Long throw into the area, headed clear. This is going to be a corner. Maybe the last best chance here for Saskatchewan potentially. Everybody forward. Even Kieran Behan, who even for him he's far forward. He's on the opposite side of half now. But there's no need to hang back now. Lose by 1 or you lose by 2. It's the same effect in the standings. And they're going to make sure everything's squared away before this corner is taken.
Another yellow card issued there.
Yeah, hard to see who was shown that one, but
Felix Liebeck.
By the way, the last one there was for Mount Royal was on Tim Beckadal, who had checked in, and we missed that substitution. But here comes the corner, headed clear, well defended by the Cougars. Chip forward again. Can the Huskies get to it? They can. It's sent towards the back post. Still alive. Cross back over. Headed into the middle a little awkwardly. Bodies tumbling to the pitch, but the Cougars will get it away. And now Mutongolo on the run. Does well to bring it down into the middle. Took a funny hop. Now a deflection goes right back to Behan. And he hammers it forward. Cougars do still have plenty of defenders back. Here's a shoulder-to-shoulder collision. And the call favors Saskatchewan. It'll be a free kick. Or will they give the throw? Pardon me, it'll be a throw here. Can't be much time left now. Dante Molina thought about rushing into, it is. Is it a free kick or a throw? He doesn't even know, but it is a throw. So Molina to take it. Ty Lee trying to turn. He'll play it back to Sergio Molina for Dante. Little back heel, nifty for Cabral. Into the area. Headed down, but that'll bounce down softly to the net where Strauss gathers it in. A lot of good things to build on for the Huskies. Looks like they might come up just a bit short here tonight, but you have to admire their resilience. And really, you have to give some props to the Cougars as well for theirs. You can have resilience when you're in the lead too, and I think they've shown some here against a determined Huskies bunch.
Yeah, they've defended them off for 40 minutes with this 1-goal lead. Credit to them.
Imagine we're just about ready for that final whistle. Strauss puts a boot to it. Maybe one last thrust at the Dogs to get the ball. And they do. On the run. And cleared away once more. Kudelka that time with the clearance. He's been good tonight.
Referee checked his watch.
Kemsley's been good. Finn Marshall. They've all been standouts here defensively for the Cougars. Marshall really, he's more of an attacking player, but I thought he's looked good at both ends of the pitch tonight. Here's the long throw. To the edge of the 6. Still sitting there now, volleyed back into the box, headed clear. Cabral looking for it, lets it fall instead to Calado. Now to the far side. Cabral turning back towards the middle of the pitch. Slicing it to the top of the area. There's a foul committed by the Huskies. And a bit of a response there as Kudelka didn't take too kindly to that.
No, Hine jumped into his back. It's the right call. I'm not sure if this warrants a card. I don't think so. Just a harsh talking to, maybe.
Setting a testy tone for the rematch.
Oh, he does give a card for it. I wonder if that's part of that is for the reaction. Maybe that would have been a dissent.
Perhaps that's the case. These teams will meet again October 5th in Calgary. As we still continue on here in added time, a lot of it here in the second half. Another ball headed away by the Cougars defense.
It's been a highly energized, entertaining second half. Credit to both teams for just really bringing it. Not a ton of chances in the last 20 minutes, but it's been, the intensity level's been high.
Could we see one more here? Chip forward. Kudelka, gets ahead to it and slammed away. High and well out.
Well, referee keeps his whistle down.
This has got to be getting to about 6 or 7 minutes of added time at this point. Feels like it anyways. Long throw. Headed out once again. For all the possession, all the attacking time the Huskies have had, it's that finish that has been lacking, and a lot of that is credit to the Mount Royal defense. They've been able to snuff out that last touch or last couple touches when it's been needed. And now Strauss will take as much time as he can without earning another booking. There's a real art to time wasting. And there is the final whistle as the Cougars get 2 in the opening 15 minutes and hang on from there. They take this one by a final score of 2-1, and they improve to 3-0 on the season. The Huskies opened the campaign with a loss that had a little bit of everything. Some tough mistakes to start off, but pretty solid regroup. They answered with a goal in the second half, and even though they come away with the loss, Lee, I think there'll be some real good things to build on as they get set to face yet another very tough team on Sunday in the Calgary Dinos.
Yeah, I agree. They left everything on the pitch. A few of these players are going home exhausted tonight, but promising signs. The second half's been great. They showed some confidence. They showed they can play. A lot of these guys, it was their first game of their debuts. First time in CIS.
And the Cougars, meanwhile, you not much to complain about when you're off to a 3-0 start. Their first road win of the year. They will look to keep it going as they will take on the Lethbridge Pronghorns on Sunday, trying to make it a 4-0 start. Meanwhile, they also extend their unbeaten run against the Huskies to 10 games, now 9-1 since that last Huskies win back in 2019. Huskies back in action on Sunday. They will host the Calgary Dinos at high noon here at Griffiths Stadium. We'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon for the Huskies women kicking off their season against Mount Royal. That is a 2 o'clock start here from Griffiths Stadium. Until then, we'll bid you farewell. For Lee Cormish, I'm Ryan Flaherty. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. This has been Canada West Men's Soccer on Canada West TV.